Boop, 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 boop. Howdy and aloha. Welcome to Manaka. The earth and you are ohana. We hope you stay and talk. Yay! I gotta load that up to the beginning of the show. Hi, everybody. And what the hell is that noise? Uh-oh, we got something else going on over here. Okay. Howdy and aloha, everybody. This is James. I got a little show called Mana Talk with James. It's about people coming together from all over the country, sometimes all over the world. What we talk about is mainstream issues, not mainstream media issues, main issues that are out there regarding um, our livelihoods, our planet, and all of its inhabitants. It's pretty simple. A lot of people that have a lot to do with what we do in this country, however, um, are all of our supposed leaders, which are supposedly our judiciaries, our executives, and our legislators. And from what I can see, they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about any of you. And I think there are some people out there that actually care. That's why I'm a Green Party person. I'm very proud to be one. I hold it. I stand with it. I am fucking all for it. I believe that the rest of the planet is catching up with what they want to bring to the world, especially to the country. Um, However, I don't know if the rest of the world is ready for the Green Party. And the reason why I say that is because the Green Party, in many cases, they have their issues. Every party has their problems and issues. But when you have the two major parties that are out there right now, the Republicans, the legislators, the Democrats, and the judiciaries that are um, supposedly running the country, they have this large group of people, 80 million people out there. Hey, Ryan Bannock. Hey, Red. How you doing? Good seeing you guys. I'll be on it. I'll open it up in just a second. Y'all can come on. But anyway, and they just, the monolithic nature of them is just humongous. There's over 200 registered voters in the world. Excuse me, not the world, in the United States. That's the U.S. voting republic. And I think the Green Party maybe has, I think it's like 500,000 or maybe a million registered voters across the country, maybe. While these other two parties have close to 90 to a million, excuse me, 90 million or so together, the two party oligarchy. They have a lot of registered voters. They have a lot of people that they've been hypnotizing and they've been fooling and they've been misdirecting and they've been lying and propagandizing everything, putting fear, just so much fear mongering. Um, it, there's a formula out there that they use on everybody, and it's quite apparent now. I noticed it just a few years ago, just during the Bernie session, little a year or so before Bernie even came around. I started to get it when Obama was president, and he wasn't really doing anything, and he swept Dennis Kucinich under the rug. I go, why aren't they doing single payer? I mean, fucking Dennis Kucinich is bringing it up. Alan Grayson is bringing it up. Everybody else is bringing it up. That really want it and know how it works. But all of a sudden, the ACA comes up, the Affordable Care Act, which actually is just was a prelude to just certain companies taking advantage of people. Yes, it's better than what we had before. I do agree with that in many instances, but it is just a terrible uh, problem for a lot of people as far as copays, the amount of money they pay now for premiums. It's compounded really bad. So once I started to understand that, I started to really get it. I started to really understand that the Democrats keep saying that they're going to bring minimum wage up. They keep saying that they're going to stop all the wars. They keep saying they're going to start to build our infrastructure. They keep saying they're going to bring us full, comprehensive, universal health care for all with no copays. That never fucking happened. They keep saying stuff, they keep portraying stuff, but they're not doing shit. The Republicans, on the other hand, I'm talking about the legislators, the judiciaries, and the executives. I'm not talking about the voting republic or the people themselves. They've always been in the pockets of the Koch brothers, of corporations, big oil, big fracking, big coal. They've always been there for them. That's a no-brainer. And they use the Trump card, no pun intended. The Trump card is religion that, well, God doesn't want us, and they use social distractions they both use social distractions to keep you off of what they're actually doing. Is these legislators, these judiciaries, and these executives that we now have at the state level, at the federal level, throughout our nation, it's quite apparent. They're working for the 1%. They're working for the kleptocracy. They're working for somebody else, but not you. They're not working for you. They don't give a shit about you. George Carlin said it. He's known it for a long time. They don't give a shit about you. They don't. It's plain and simple. So with that all being known, I decided, hey, I don't want to be a part of a party that's just is full of shit, and they're neoliberals, and they still hang on to big pharma. They still hang on to Monsanto. They still hang on to fracking, and they were for the private prison industry. There's just so many things that they're for. So I jumped off the Democratic Party. I exited quickly right after Bernie got screwed in the 2016 elections by the criminal mastermind and mafia clan of the Clintons. And then I decided to go to the Green Party. I found out the Green Party has a lot of people in there that actually give a shit. As a matter of fact, the people that run for the Green Party, they don't take corporate donations. As a matter of fact, they're uncorporatized. All they want is just to get their paycheck and go home. They don't want to fucking do lobbying shit afterwards. Like, what was that? Frank Dodd. Now he's a lobbyist. Now, and who's that guy that yelled all the time? I'll get his name. But anyway, I'm kind of going on a little tangent, but basically the point I'm truly trying to make is we actually have a party out there that nobody knows too much about. Well, I'm trying my freaking hardest to get them to explode, to get them to come out, to shine, to be proud, to be out there, because I truly believe that this nation needs to catch up with this party, and it hasn't in a long time. And people need to understand what they're trying to do for them. We're trying to make, and I'm part of the Green, a standing General Assembly member, and I'm also with the California Media Committee member, standing General Assembly member of Orange County. It's a lot of words. And the Media Committee member of California Green Party. We're not a whole bunch of people, but we do give a shit. We actually care. We care about your health care. We care about your roads. We care about your schools. We want everybody, we want pre-K all the way up through college to be paid for. We want people, we want more intelligent people, okay? You can have your religion, you can go worship a fucking stone or a tree for all I care. We just want to make sure you're going to have a good life. We truly give a shit. And that's why I chose to go register as a Green, and that's why I chose to become more involved with the Greens, and why I'm doing whatever I can to get them to understand is this is the opportunity that they have. This is the opportunity that they have when a person like Jesse Ventura, this man that has millions of subscribers, millions of likes, tons of videos, lots of notoriety, well known across the fucking planet, right, is saying, I would run as a Green. He said that on Jimmy Dore just a couple months ago. And I am personally reaching out with others in the Green Party of the national campaign committee that kind of, start the conversation and see what his interests are and whoever's interest, and to see if it's doable and if it'll work. I think it's very doable. I think it would definitely work, and we want to do what we can. Well, I did get a response back from Jimmy Dore that he's going to forward my information to whoever, and I got some other people that are going to try to get in touch with Jesse. This is some good news. But he's learned. We've all learned. I was a Republican 10 years ago. Wait, no. I was Republican about 12, 13 years ago. And I was just doing it because all my friends were fucking Republicans. I had no idea. I wasn't even really into politics at all. And I didn't understand what I was doing, and I was just voting by what people were telling me and all this other stuff. And then I really sat down and I started to do my due diligence. I started to do my research. I started to check the footnotes and see where information came from. I used to call, I still do to this day, make calls to interns of legislators and judiciaries and executives, and I asked them, is that his position? Because this social media outlet is saying this, and this news thing is saying that, and they may tell me something totally different. You've got to do the research. You have to spend. We are at the precipice in our lifetime. This is that moment to where we allow people like, not people, just the product of the United States that spewed out Donald Trump. My God, what a fucking piece of shit. No, I don't like him. I don't like what he stands for. I don't like what he does. I don't like anything fucking about the guy. He doesn't give a shit about you. He doesn't care about his wife. I mean, he doesn't care. All he cares about is money, power, and his kids going out and shooting fucking lions and tigers and bears. That's all he cares about, right? And I don't see him doing anything about climate change. I don't see him anything. I mean, he wants to beef up even more refineries and oil than fucking Obama did, and he holds a record for producing more oil refineries and giving more access to the North Pole and Nome in that area than any other president. They're all fucking the same. Republicans, Democrats, Republicans, Democrats, and fucking Republicans, all the same. Republicans, Democrats, Democrats. They're all the same. They don't give a shit about you. Citizens United came in and everybody fucking said, yeah, bro, we are gonna make some fucking money. Everybody's gonna be shit fucking rich. Nancy Pelosi's a gazillionaire now. Feinstein got re-fucking into the system and she's making more money than ever. Fucking Chucky the Shoe Shermer is making more money through Wall Street, and they're all fucking banking on Citizens United sticking around, and they don't talk about it. I've heard Bernie and somebody in one of his little town halls and shit, he's talked about it as long as the title is Citizens United. Oh yeah, Citizens United, we're really doing something about it. Okay, and then they change the subject. McCutcheon versus the FEC is just as bad. We know that. The Greens know all this. You've got to fucking pull this money out of these politicians' hands, or you're going to continue to get what you want. And I'll tell you right now, you pull that money away, from these fucking greedy piece of shit bastards, Democrats and Republicans that are on the Hill, I can guarantee a lot of them will be gone. Oh, I feel that I'm no longer needed. I've already spent 10, 12, 15, 20 years in the House and the Senate, and I just don't believe it's necessary for me to be here anymore because I'm not fucking making any money because they pulled Citizens United and McCutcheon versus the FEC. And I think something about the Communications Act as well. They'll be gone. But people that really want to help, like the Greens, let them go in. Give them a shot. See what happens. Let's find out what Jesse can do for the Green Party. Let's find out what he can do. Let's find out how he's going to bring more attention to the party itself. As I've stated, 15%, 10 or 15%, somewhere around there, of the U.S. voting republic don't even know there's a fucking Green Party. Do you think with him around, a few more of those people will finally realize that there are? I think so. I think so. Let them go after, get him, talk, put something together, make some agreements. Start now. Start now. You can't wait. These other two parties, they have the money, the millions, and the billions to get themselves the publicity, the advertising, the marketing, the public relations that they need with all the bazillions of dollars that they have. We don't have that. Let's be real. Green Party's fucking poor as shit. Okay? Maybe there are a few Greens that are wealthy personally. Good for you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I really am. But in a whole, nothing. Okay? So we have to work voluntarily. I spend my time voluntarily doing what I can to lift a party that I truly believe needs to be there for the people. Because I think the people in the party actually give a shit. I think they actually care. So anyway, that's the reason why I have this show. That's the reason why I became the Green, because all I care about is I want to help the planet and all of its inhabitants. And if you have that core belief, in all your decisions, all of its inhabitants, I'm not just talking about the whales, I'm not just talking about fucking the polar bears, okay, which is sad because they're losing more real estate than ever with all the I'm not even going to get into that. I'm talking about human beings, not just across the country. I'm talking about human beings across the planet. We need to be the leader, not with guns and ammunition and Stark Industries. I'm talking about Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Enron, and all these fucking giant military industrial complex companies and all their subsidiaries that make fucking bazillions of dollars because we keep fucking we just throw money at them. We don't throw it. Wait, actually, we don't throw it. We don't even pour it. We actually create weather patterns to rain money on these fucking companies. Billions and billions and billions of dollars. Why there are people going fucking hungry in our own country that are dying because they don't have health care, that are losing their houses because they were just $1,000 away from a fucking bill that they can't pay. This is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of fucking people that are running our country right now. That's what's happening. This should not happen in America. This should not happen in a country that's supposed to be strong and powerful and fucking there for you. Because they're not. You tell me one fucking politician that has actually and totally been there for you, that has done something for you to help your life. Well, if you're the 1%, you can say Trump. Okay? If you can say neoliberal, you can say a lot of the Democrats. If you can say, well, I'm a CEO of a pharmaceutical company, right? Thank you, Dianne Feinstein. Thank you. So we need to get off of that fucking train that's going off a cliff. Okay, that's going to pull the rest of this country and all of these people. It's getting too crazy. It's getting too wild. We're going to push somebody's buttons a little too far in one of our little fucking pissing matches that we have with some country out there. Syria's getting bad. Iran, we don't fucking need that shit. Iran back in the 70s was a wonderful place to hang out. If you've seen, they're all groovy, they all bell bottoms on, and then they decided to fucking bring their religion into it. And now they stone people and they do all this shit. Fucking Saudi Arabia is even worse. Be a woman and live in Saudi Arabia. I fucking dare you. Yet, we give them $110 billion just last year to buy weapons of mass destruction. You're pissed off about a man that fucking grabs pussies, yet you're going to give you're voting to give $110 billion to a country that stones women to death. Yeah, fuck. What's that guy's name? Black. He fucking, you guys fucking, you know, I want to scream and yell. But I really want to just bring the attention to you that is so vitally important. And what's vitally important is we have an opportunity to really boost the Green Party. His name is Jesse Ventura. I hope he chooses Jill, and I hope Jill still has the energy and the time. And I truly hope that she is paying attention because, I mean, there's a lot of candidates out there that would be perfect to run for vice president of the United States. But if something along the way doesn't happen and they don't make it, imagine how much attention they'll bring to the party. Imagine what they'll discuss. Can you see Jesse Ventura and Jill Stein talking to Ted Cruz? Do you think Ted Cruz would wet his pants or piss his pants or shit his pants after being fucking raked over the coals by Jesse or Jill for that matter? Can you see any of them? I would love to see Jill and fucking Nancy Pelosi head to head. What do you think would happen? Nancy Pelosi would fucking get out her drugs because I know, you know, we've got to test these fucking people on the Hill. We have got to test them. But she would get in her purse and she'd start pouring all her fucking prescription drugs faster down her throat than fucking Michael Jackson, which is fucked up. That should have never happened to that man. Anyway, so basically, in a nutshell, we've got to take advantage of this. I truly believe it's a smart thing to do. There's a lot of people that are coming aboard on this. We don't have time. You don't have time to fuck around. I love the millennials, but I can't wait 15, 20 years. I don't know if we're going to have a country by then. Honestly. Stevie's correct. That's a good point. Fixing America would go a long way in fixing the world's problems. We are like the leader of destruction and death and abuse and colluding and propaganda. You guys remember Baghdad Bob during the Iraq War? Everybody was against him. Yeah, he was a propaganda. Of course, we get that. But who are the best propagandists now? Rachel Maddow, Randy Rhodes. Terrible. War fucking mongering whack jobs. They've gone fucking nutso. All right. I'm going to open it up, bring some people on. I'm going to talk about something that I recently did. I sent out an email to as many people that, well, I probably could have sent it to more, but we're sending it out to all the Green Party members across the United States. We need uniformity. We need a unity. Okay? We need Ohana. We need Ohana. We need to be the family that everybody fucking fears. I'm not talking about a gun. I'm not talking about missiles. I'm talking about because we really understand and know what the 99% of the people that are having a fucking hard time in their lives. We know what they want. We know what they need to have. And some people might have to raise their taxes a little bit more. Some subsidies may have to be changed a little bit. Some loopholes may have to be altered a bit. Maybe some Cayman Island account may need to be cut off. Swiss bank accounts may need to be scrutinized. There's a lot of things out there that we should have been doing decades ago, but we haven't. The Green Party wants to do that. That's what the Green Party wants to do. And I know they want to do that, and I'm all for it. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to open up the channels for whoever wants to come on. I'm okay with that. I just want to let you know that I, James Kaimilani Young, am very proud to be a Green Party person. I'm also registered Green, and I'm very proud of this party. I think that we need to do whatever is necessary to make sure that our message comes out and gets across. And we're going to go over our message because it's not uniform, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you have any information in regards to why you support or don't support a Jesse run, or a Jesse or Jill run, or if you have some other candidate you want to bring in, jump into the discussion. Come on in. We're cool with that. Trolls will be immediately booted. That's for damn sure. Where's the heck is that thing? That's pretty much it, people. Oh, look. Oh, wait. Invites. I have to tell myself what I'm doing, or I won't be able to do it. Okay, anyway. Okay, put that in the group. I do have some you can check all the links, all the videos in the show notes. There's some good stuff in there, and I like to invite my Jesse and Jill group, which consists of William Pounds, Sir Chad, Shane, Pamela, definitely Stevie from Red Economics. We had a good show a few days ago talking about the Green Party, and I just put that in the Facebook for everybody, and then I also put one in here. I hope the connection is good. I'm not even going to check. I'm afraid to even check. And I usually say howdy and aloha, I think. All right, that's 15 America. What else? See the TYT. Did I see the TYT? Oh, in Gardenham. James, did you see the TYT interview with Constance Newton? I think so. And I think that we had that on in our last show. Is that the one where Jank was kind of grilling her a little bit? I think so. I think that was last week. We went over that on Red Economics. T. Oliver. Lada2018.com. Here is an effort that we are pushing forward in Oregon. Co-nomination of Drew Lada. Libertarian and Pacific Green. Okay. Why is this doing? Hold on. And Will's here. Hey, Stevie. Hey, Will. Okay, so let me take it off. Put it back. Put it to gallery. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
I can't hear you, James.
Yeah, I can't hear you either.
Let me
I can hear you on the YouTube.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Hear you on,
on
Zoom.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Who can hear me?
No.
Ryan!
What's up? I can hear you on YouTube, but I can't hear you in Zoom.
Okay, I'm going to fix that right now. Give me a moment.
Yeah,
Will, anybody got something to talk about? Take it away.
And the witch has fallen. Have you seen the news, William?
Who primaried her?
De Leon. A guy called De Leon.
Uh-huh. Well, Ryan, here's what's happening with me right now, because right now I'm trying to get Dennis Kucinich to endorse Constance. And in order to do that, I need to get Jesse to endorse Constance. Because Dennis has essentially become Jesse's pal and things, I guess. So I think Dennis would endorse Constance. I just need to work on it.
Keep working.
Yeah, I think it'll go.
Keep chipping away. It'll happen.
You guys can hear me now, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure can.
So before we get on to further things, I just wanted... You've been asking for Jesse's position on immigration for a while, right, James?
I already know what it is. You played a video on it, but go ahead if you want to.
Yeah, I'll just show everybody the video. So
yeah, please. Anything you got, throw it up there. Throw it on the board. There was something I sent out. We'll talk about that in a little bit. An email to everybody in regards to the uniformity and the unity of the party. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much for this, Will.
I'd go one farther. I would tell you this, if I got elected president, this is probably why I can't be. I would inform Fidel Castro and the Cuban government that not only will I be shutting down Guantanamo within the year, I would also give Guantanamo back to Cuba. Follow me on that? What does the United States have a base in Cuba for? Why do we occupy Cuban land? For what ungodly purpose other than to hold prisoners to where they don't have to be tried in a regular court of law and you can have a sneaky prison off there that's only 90 miles away. It ain't like we need a spot to spend the night and we can't make it there and back in a day. It's 90 miles. I would give Guantanamo back to Cuba where it belongs.
If we do win the embargo, can we trust our government to properly regulate this trade, or will they just muck it up even worse than it already is?
I don't know, but trade is trade. It's ridiculous. We should be trading with this country. It creates jobs both for them and for us. It helps both of our economies. How do you turn away from a win-win situation to go to what you have, a lose-lose situation?
What do you think? Do you think Obama has been strict on immigration so far?
I think something needs to be done because my view is very simple and very different, and I'll probably take a lot of heat for this. I'm for open borders. I believe we're all residents of this planet, and why shouldn't you be able to travel where you want to go without paperwork? All this stuff's created by governments. They put up fences, they keep us all apart, and they make us all distrust each other. Take down these borders, let people travel freely, and make the country a better place to live all around. You don't need big wire fences with barbed wire to create a great place to live, you know.
Well, Obama actually has been...
Yeah, he thinks this. Go ahead.
So
That's amazing. I thought that he'd be pretty, left leaning on as far as borders and stuff goes, but damn, he just went out there in left field with that one.
I tell you why they don't open up Cuba to the world. I open up Cuba to the USA is because Cuba have very, very cheap pharmaceuticals, a very, very cheap medical system. So if you go... If you open up Cuba to America, then Americans are just going to flood Cuba to get their medications cheaper, and their medical costs done cheaper.
Huh? That's interesting, Ryan.
That's why they don't open up Cuba, because when you think about it, some of those cancer preventing drugs that cost Cubans $3. Cost Americans $70,000. So, who wouldn't fly to Cuba? It's like Australians flying to Southeast Asia to get cheaper medication, cheaper surgeries done. So that's why they don't open up Cuba.
Anyway, I want to hear T. Oliver talk about some stuff.
Hey, T, welcome. How are you, bro?
I mean, if T. Oliver wants to say anything.
Well, when people come on, the best thing to
James,
do
we can't hear you again.
Oh, because I muted myself.
Can you hear me?
Because, yeah, we hear you. When people first come on, best thing, Will, just to let you know, make sure that we can hear them. The mic check is there because I fuck up still to this day. I pull Joey's all the time. T, welcome. How you doing, brother? Good to have you.
Hey, pretty good, pretty good. A lot of you know me as George Hayduke on social media.
Oh, hey, George. What's up?
Yeah. I recognize, I think I'm friends with William Pounds and James. I've been following you in the chat, Green News Network chat for quite a while. So, the one thing that I wanted to just kind of briefly mention is that what we're doing here in Oregon with the Pacific Green Party of Oregon, pacificgreens.org, is we have co-nominated Drew Leda. Drew Leda is running for congressional seat, District 1. I put his website in your chat there. It's leda2018.com. And so this is an interesting experiment because Drew is a self-identified libertarian.
Oh. Okay.
So this is an interesting bridge of these quote-unquote green libertarians that we have entertained in the party. And so the reason I bring that up is that there is something to your efforts. And I've followed William Pound's posts on social media promoting, and you as well, the whole concept of Governor Ventura. Now, granted, he was governor with the Reform Party, but I think we should note that Governor Ventura has identified as a libertarian or leaning that way at some point in his life. That's my daughter, Raquel. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. You guys are kind of advancing something that is unprecedented And I kind of wanted to chime in that we are doing some unprecedented co-nomination here for the fall here in Oregon.
Well, George, I identify as a libertarian socialist, and a lot of people just throw at me, "Oh, that's an oxymoron." But I don't think so. I mean, Noam Chomsky doesn't think so, and Noam Chomsky's smarter than me, so it's but here's something that I always have to like talk about when it comes to Jesse being libertarian, and that is, well, he's had his experience in government. That was a learning thing for him. A lot of it was education. It's a guy who came out of the world of professional wrestling. Okay, so what baffles me is what right-wing libertarian lifts a trade embargo on Fidel Castro. He lifted that so that they could trade with Cuba. And Jesse has referred to Fidel Castro as one of his friends before. But I mean, that's just, he's not right-wing. Maybe you could go as far to say that he hasn't necessarily presented much of an ideology, but it's just like he's hung out with people all over the spectrum for the most part. That's what I think. Fidel Castro, Ron Paul, two different characters, I guess, and yeah.
Okay, let me point out something really quick to you guys. I'm going to show you something that's very important that I'm going to I think Ryan wants to say something, or Stevie or somebody. But I'm going to share this. And T, it's good to have you. So this picture, and I got to show it now in the YouTube. This picture, if you can see it, it shows parties coming together. Steve Grombine's brought this up as well. And what I'm really trying to get to is everybody has common ground. Everybody wants more joy, and less pain. And there's so many places for common ground between a Republican, a Libertarian, a Democrat, or you name what party they're at. We're at that point where both of these parties and the two-party oligarchy aren't doing anything or enough. So that's why I believe that this party could be the party to bring people together on common ground. And I'm okay with libertarians coming. I'm also known as a libertarian socialist, right, in a sense. I am for a lot of things the Democrats like. There's a few things the Republicans like that I actually think are good, believe it or not. There's a lot of things with Ron Paul that I like, not Ayn Rand, but Ron Paul, and it's a lot of things that he's done. And there's a lot of bits and pieces that I like from a lot of parties. And those bits and pieces mean people too. Bits and pieces mean people. So bringing all those people together, I think, are hugely important.
So, George or T, do you know Pamela Sue Post?
Pamela, is she coming on?
I don't know. She doesn't know how to use Zoom. Who's whispering?
Zombie.
That's
Ryan.
He's singing zombie. Zombie. I'm muted. I muted him. Anyway, go ahead, T. You're going to say.
What was there a question, William? Did you have a question?
Well, Pamela, I think she runs one of the pages for one of the county parties with the Pacific Greens. And since you're with,
yeah, I'm not familiar with the Pamela, but we do have a number of different people that have different handles, like myself on social media. And but I'm a co-chair of currently there's 5 on the state coordinating committee. So I'm back on the Pacific Green Party as a co-chair. I'm also a national delegate for Green Party US. And back in 2012, I was on ballot access committee and worked with Dr. Jill in 2012, not 2016. I was not running full throttle with some of the messaging that I heard from Dr. Jill. And that's the one thing that you've heard me chiming in on your chat, and I don't want to harp away on it because I made my position super clear with I really do. I support the entertaining of Governor Ventura, but I think we do need to move forward with the second part of that. But Pamela, I'm sorry, I'm not real familiar. We've got a Connor. Connor's on social media, and Dan, who are both real active on social media right now.
My friend Gary Frazier has been in contact with Bobby Seale, you know, the co-founder of the original Black Panther Party. And I'm thinking maybe that could be a ticket, a Jesse Bobby ticket. You know, I think me personally, I would love that. But Gary is going to have to get to me on that. But I want to show you this little oldie, this old clip. It's a classic clip. It's very old, but if I can show it, I'll show it.
Yeah, of course. I like Jill only because I've spoken with her. I think she has a good following. She's, from what I've researched, she's one of the only Greens that I know of that's had more time, other than Ralph Nader, around mainstream media, whether it's positive or negative. So she has some clout out there. Let's just say some PR, right? The other person to that with me right now who is on Susie Dawson and Elizabeth Leah Voss for the Unity for Assange. They've been doing the telethons or the YouTube-a-thons or something. Was Cynthia McKinney. She was big on my list too. Ajun Baraka, cool too. I think if you're gonna have somebody on, they better know what they're talking about because they're gonna go after them. They have to be strong. They have to have a following. They have to be ready to take the onslaught. And I know that Jill's been raked over the coals several times, and she's done the right things and said the best things possible to defend herself, even though they'll try to twist it like she fucked up. Like, but last time she was on MSNBC, which I think was funny, is she did a great job. She defended herself perfectly in regards to the Russia and hanging out with Russia. And then the mainstream media, The Hill, the Post, I mean, you just name all the media out there that turned it around on her. Like, oh, she freaked out and all this other stuff. Freaked out? It's amazing. But anyway, go ahead, Will. We have to have somebody with Jesse that can actually add or complement what they're trying to do. I
think Bobby Seale could reach out to like so many people.
I don't know Bobby Seale.
Well, again, co-founder, the co-founder.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Who knows the Black Panthers?
Okay.
So, like, let me just show you this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and show us that. Oh, the Bobby Seale.
First of all, he doesn't know much. Second of all, he's lazy. And third, he avoids conflict. Those are all assets. And finally, if Al Gore cannot beat a bumbling governor from Texas with that terrible a record, what good is he to begin with? We have to build a movement in this country.
With that milquetoast response, we got to take a break. And we're back once again with Governor Ventura and Ralph Nader. And Governor Ventura has a small compliment he wants to pay me and all my colleagues back in Washington.
Well, what I'd like to know, Ted, is why, whenever you get a third-party candidate, you go after them, you focus, you demand answers, and yet when I watch you with the Vice President and Governor Bush, they can give you these spin-doctored answers, spin around and tap dance everywhere they want to go, and nobody ever pins them down like you are Ralph Nader tonight,
were you
calling
watching?
him milquetoast.
No, I was teasing him, as you know. That's not milquetoast, is it? Were you watching last Tuesday? Were you watching last Friday?
I was on a trade mission down in Mexico doing my job.
There you go.
Instead of campaigning around the country like other governors do for a year and a half, I was working.
That's why the good Lord That's why the good Lord. That's why the good Lord made VCRs, Governor.
Oh, well. All right, that's why there's Monday Night Football.
That's why there's Monday Night Football.
That was good. Thank you, Will. That was good. I just pity the fool. I pity the fool that fucking tries to jump on Jesse Ventura. It's gonna be like slaughter.
Here's this thing though, because like you saw like how that like that the guy, the host, whatever, said milk toast, and Jesse, like they just I'm just thinking, because I was watching the entire C-SPAN clip. I just cropped that out. But it was a very short segment. That was the entire segment, because Ralph had finished explaining himself, and then the guy said, with that milk toast response, we'll see you back in the break. And then the break was so small, and then they went on break again with that small clip. And I think Jesse had a freak out. Because the guy was just trying to get away with having that staying in people's mind.
Oh, T. Oliver, you jumped off, by the way, but thank you if you needed to go. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I was going to ask him the question, who does he want to see besides Jill or whoever to run with Jesse? And I'm sorry, Will, I don't know who. I think I've heard his name. Maybe we talked about him before. Black Panther guy, yeah, that's fine. But what I'm saying is,
I'm just saying the co-found, like, they're gonna, if they run somebody like Kamala Harris and use that identity politics thing, Bobby Seale destroys that.
Well, but
they're not going to use her. There's no way she's not going to come. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, I mean, Bobby Seale, the idea is there, but I mean, we really need a pit bull, and then somebody that makes people feel comfortable. I mean, I don't know enough about him, like individually, but everybody knows the Black Panthers are, yes, but not everybody is up to date on what Bobby Seale's been doing, and they're not understanding. But that's the point.
I think that if we want to get the very, very far left people on board with this ticket, you need to get Bobby Seale. That's what I think. The co-founder of the Black Panthers, and it just destroys the narrative that Jesse's a right winger. It destroys it. And so I don't want, again, I'm not somebody who likes identity politics, but in this age, it's a powerful tool that could be used.
Well, but we got to be careful though too. It's not. We want somebody that's going to really be able to handle it. And that's
the government, the U.S. government targeted the Black Panthers. I think Bobby can handle a bit more than can handle way more than a sleazy debate monitor or whatever.
I'm not worried about that. So here's the thing: the Black Panthers. Okay, so if we're really gonna, I look at it more as like the primary. I'm definitely down. First of all, for anybody and everybody, all the strong voices to come out for the primary, because we want these people to talk amongst themselves and go at it, because we want the person that wants it, that's the most hungry, and that can. Obviously we like Jesse, but the primary still needs to take place.
Okay, and what does that necessarily have to do with the primary as it takes place? I'm just throwing out ideas.
As far as Bobby, we have to be. Here's the thing: there's going to be a lot of unknowns coming up too, like that we've never heard of. I'm sure that people are going to try and throw it. Who knows? 2020 is going to be a shit show, anyways. So, I mean, we just have to be careful, because when it comes to, again, it's not just about framing, but I don't know enough about Bobby to to feel comfortable like putting him in a certain position. But again, that's what I say, like the primary, that's why it's so important, because we can have all these strong voices get together and then debate it out. And then who knows? That's what I'm saying. Who knows with
if you don't want to support, listen, let you talk, let me just say something. If you don't want to support Bobby Seale, that's fine, but I'm gonna. Okay? It's just like, you know, it's from like I know plenty about him. You know, I met him once before. Okay, when I was like 14.
Well, but that means nothing when it comes to you meeting him. Has nothing to do with any other people not knowing him and being. I'm not against Bobby Seale. I'm saying I'm not to the point where I could say, okay, yeah, he would be great for a ticket when you know, myself or a lot of people don't know what he's been up to. Does that make sense? I'm not against it. I'm just trying to say, like, we need to.
And as time and as time goes on, you will learn more, and I will learn more just the same.
Well, for sure.
I'm ignorant of plenty of things, I'm sure.
Oh, we all are, you know, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good people to choose from. You know, I mean, I've heard a lot of good names thrown out there, and I'm kind of agreeing more and more. Although, like, Jill was like my first reaction, and I think that she would be a really great. I mean, of course, she'd do really well, but yeah, it would be nice to see somebody else, because she is so synonymous with the Green Party, and if anybody had to name somebody from the Green Party, it would be her. You know, just not very many people have the name recognition that she does. But, you know, I've heard, there was somebody, it was a woman that was it Cynthia McKinney?
That's
I've heard
another
a couple of good people. Well, I'll have to start writing down these names, because it would be a really good. I mean, not that we get to anyway, but you know, I guess that it's ultimately up to Jesse and them. But these are good. We could put the pressure on them to pick the right people. You know what I mean?
I have heard a lot of concerns from people. Like, it's just like filled up my personal messages that, oh, Cynthia McKinney, she's anti-Semitic, you know, this and that, or like she crosses the line between legitimate criticism of Israeli apartheid and anti-Semitism. Now, I'm not going to make that claim, but I have received constant messages of that claim, which is why I wish.
It's definitely something that we'd have, because I mean, if she is saying, that's just not going to fly.
Well, but here's the thing, though, is and I keep going back to the whole primary thing, because I mean, that's really what it's about. Even if that's the case, even if that's what we find out, remember the importance of building up this. Because I look at the primary because it's like a fucking game show in a way. We have to make it the most exciting thing that people like. Why are we watching the Democratic Party? Why are we watching the Republican Party? Because they're not speaking on the shit we need to. They're not saying the shit we need to. So that when I say the primary is the time where Cynthia McKinney, all these things that we're talking about, that's when it comes out and say, hey, you were a little bit here, and you have a real discussion, a real conversation, and you want to hear real people fucking go at it about real shit. I mean, and that's again, that's my whole point too with Bobby. I think it's all these pieces are important because they're going to pull different groups in, different individuals, different identities, however you want to map it out, label it, and then when you pull them in, they say, okay, here's our options, and you put all these options face to face, and we have to make sure that shit's as balls to the wall, like, you know, raw. I don't know, like
Go ahead. Chad, okay. I get it, that the primary is so far away, and right now I feel the point of this is only presenting information. Like, there's no, everything in this discussion is not in any sense set in stone. It's only a conversation about information. We're not, this isn't like deciding anything right now.
Yeah, but the purpose is to hash it out now, to have to
I know.
start planning. Yeah.
But that's
So,
what I mean.
but it's like,
the primary,
so,
though,
Chad, you don't have to bring up the primary because we already get that.
Well,
We're only giving out
but-
information
but
so
you
we
have
know.
When
So
you're-
we
when
know
you're-
before the primary.
Well, here's saying when you're saying you're picking running mates, you're picking person who's running as the Green King. You're picking all these things, and there's no primary.
I'm not picking anybody.
I'm saying
I'm not picking anybody.
Well, you are. Let me say.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
No, you are.
I'm
You're saying.
throwing people out.
Please,
Throwing
let's
people
go
out.
one at a time.
What I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like you say, we're conversating, we're bringing out information. When I keep going back, hold on. When I keep going back to the prime, all I'm saying is that is the key point to make sure that people feel comfortable about jumping on board, because it's not just about Jesse. Jesse is the vehicle to get people into the Green Party. And when they get to the Green Party, they're going to have a bunch of voices, including like your Bobby Seale, including that's my whole thing is like for me to, when you talk about information, and we're talking about right now, and that's what I'm saying. When I say primary, that's what it's got to be about. Yeah, it's a long way away, but that's what it has to be about. It has to be about the collective people talking all this stuff, the collective conversation, because it's not just Jesse Ventura. It's not just these people. It's everybody, and that's what's going to bring everybody in and get everybody excited, because they get to pick. We want people to pick who they want to be their president.
So I thought, and like I've giving, that's why I'm giving people Chad. That's why I'm saying Bobby Seale. That's why I'm saying Cynthia. That's why I'm saying.
And I'm
agreeing. I
was just making it clear that I wasn't trying to be against Bobby Seale. I was trying to make it understanding.
It's just Chad. Like, I'm just giving out options. You can. I'm not saying that you can't express. Not saying that you can't express what your feel is about it. I'm just saying that what I'm doing is giving people more and more options. That's what I want to do. So that's why I've said all these people. I'm not trying to make anything about anybody primarily.
Which is why I go to the primary, because when you say you're trying to give options, it comes down to the primary. I mean,
yes, and options for the primary, and I just feel like it's. I just feel like you've just said it so many. You've already made it clear with Eric. You've made it clear.
I mean, you've made it clear about Jesse Ventura, but that doesn't mean we stop talking about it. That we stop making it clear the point. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't say, let's stop talking about this one piece.
Okay, so a primary
over and over and over and over and over.
Okay.
That's the point.
So
Jesse Ventura means nothing unless we go through a primary, unless people feel like that's what I'm saying. Like
so a primary is going to happen. That's right. A primary is going to happen. We really don't need to. There's so many things I want to focus on. Other than there's a primary, there's an event going to take place. So yes, I get what you're trying to say.
Isn't the election an event that's going to take place?
Yes. So like it's like.
Okay, well, then don't forget the process of what we're doing, where we're going, and what steps in that process happens. Because that's the point. Is Jesse Ventura? I'm with you. Jesse Ventura is either going to bring people into the party, or he's actually going to be the candidate for the Green Party. So there's a strategy-wise, it can be whatever you want it to be. Like, that way people feel comfortable with getting on that strategy, because they know when they hit the primary. I keep saying primary because it makes people feel comfortable about saying, okay, well, at least I know that there comes a point where we get all the collective voices.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that. And I think there's probably just one misunderstanding here that we're both not understanding here. And I think that misunderstanding is simply yeah, there's going to be a primary. And we can talk about the aspects of the primary, most definitely. But we already know that there's going to be a primary. We can talk about the aspects of it like you want to. Of course. Of course. Maybe T can add something. Like, how do you think this is going to, since we haven't heard from it?
We're talking about the Green Party primary?
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, no, I think that's a valid point. I'm sorry, my computer started, I was under a bot attack there. I don't know. I had to clear out my browser and reboot it. That was really bizarre. It's kind of been a weird, quirky, little buggy day today across the board. I've had a number of producers and people tell me we're under attack. But, there is something to be said about the nomination process. And that is something that I apologize, I missed that point that Sir Chad made, but it is spot on. And so there's a few things that have to happen to advance this. But regardless, if this is something that you guys are doing and you want to promote, you just keep on going the way you're going. But there is a few key things I can help out. I can explain some. There's a number of other people. But there is a process. My personal thoughts on this is, and this is what I said for 2016, we actually had 5 originally recognized Green Party candidates seeking nomination for 2016. This has gone completely under the radar because there was an internal clique that wanted to pretend that Dr. Jill was it. And that was the only option. And so we hear little trickles and little media pockets about other contests, and then we had this internal drama. I could tell you guys all kinds of stories, especially with California and the corruption that happened with the California Green Party for their primary on 2016. It was unbelievable. So there's a process there that has to happen that varies from state to state. The number one thing, and I've mentioned this on previous shows, Mana Talk shows in the chat, and I understand people are just kind of ignore me. I'm just another blowhard chiming in. But there is a serious thing that has to happen, and that is an outreach to Governor Ventura. So there has to be a connection. We need to connect with him. I'd love to see him down in Utah next week.
Like George, or I don't know what to call you. I'm so sorry, but
it's all good.
Can I call you? Can I call you George or?
Yeah, George Hayduke Oliver, whatever you want. That's fine.
Okay, but on somebody has been reaching out to Jesse. I just don't know who.
Okay.
Because he went on the Jimmy Dore show. I don't know if you've seen that clip or not.
Yes, a couple times.
He's been on the Jimmy Dore show. He said he got an invitation to the national annual meeting, but I don't know what. And I've been searching and searching. It's been hidden.
Well, actually, I think Will knows that I've been reaching out to, and he gave me Brigida's contact information. I tried to reach out to Tyrell, like I said earlier in my monologue, that I did get a response back from Jimmy Dore, that he at least looked at my request to see if he could forward my information as well as Erin Fox's information. You know Erin Fox, don't you, George? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook.
To see what his intentions are, to see what, what is he really trying to accomplish, which I think is everybody's, question. It's the big question. What are you trying to do? And from what I can tell, just by seeing the videos that William's throwing out there and on here and everywhere, and what I'm trying to post as well, is he's just as sick as we are, and everyone that understands it, of the two-party oligarchy. And he wants to get rid of it, and he thinks that the Greens are on board with that. So if he's in that mode, if he's still in that direction, whatever else that we need him to do, I truly hope that he can cooperate with us, which I think he will do, to not only just go after that nomination, but also to bring more attention to the party in a whole as well, I think, which would be good having. And I think you understand that part. So we're going after a lot of people. I've been talking to Ron Pacone. I'm talking to Graham Elwood. I'm talking to a few people out there just to get the message out. Green Party's trying to get in touch with myself or Erin Fox. I can put your name on there if you'd like. George, would that be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me put your information.
Oh,
I'll resend
totally.
those emails.
That's great. So
and put
that's
on there
good.
just to start we just want to start the conversation. I mean, he's the one that threw it up in the air, right? He's the one who threw it out there on Jimmy Dore.
And he said it in several different times, interviews, that he's definitely willing. Just, he just waiting to hear from, the people. He just, that, say, hey, yes, we want you. Let's do this.
So,
like, maybe that's something that we should go into. If and when he says yes, how do we first start? What are the early planning stages in running a campaign? Like, what do we need to do? Like, of course, we got to look at our finances. We've got to have a media team, things like that. So this would be a good opportunity. And even if it's not Jesse, these are things that we're gonna run somebody. So we need to start planning this stuff so we can be as effective as possible. Super motivated, people that know what they're doing. Like, we all have kind of the things that we're good at. Like, I know Chad and James both, y'all are really good at marketing, like the social media stuff. Chad, you're a whiz with that stuff. So, we need to start focusing on what we're actually going to be doing. And, regardless of who it is that, we're running. Because, whoever it is, we're going to want them. We're going to aim for presidency, but at the very least, get the name out there and bring people into the party.
15%. We have to get at least 15% to get on the debate thing. So then we get the federal money for the election the next time. And that I think 5%. 5% of the election, not 15% of the polling or something like that for me.
Yeah, there's two things. You're right. There's two separate things.
Yeah, could you explain that? Thank you, please, George.
Well, the way that it was worded, and I could be wrong, is that you have to do what's called polling. And so some people like Eric Siegel in, I believe he's in Michigan, he said, well, we could run our own polling. And so that's something to think about just for a second for you guys that are marketing and business brains. But you need to have a certain amount, 15%, and I think it's 3 separate polling numbers. And so that was one thing that there was, even at one point, Dr. Jill was reported to have been polling around 15% at one point. Of course, Governor Johnson, this is 2016, did pretty well in a couple of pollings too. So there is that prerequisite. So some of that. But now with the federal matching that Sir Chad brought up, it's 5%. So, we did almost 3 million votes with Nader in 2000. We've never done that well since. And that's, but with 5%, there is millions of federal matching dollars for the following campaign. So that's what we were kind of shooting for. I think that was a part of what I call Operation Bird Dog, and that the concept of bringing in the burners, the Bernie supporters, trying to get that 5%, and it fell flat. Some of us predicted that. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I was one of them that said this is not going to work. You can't outflank a sheepdog flank. But it was attempted. But the whole point of why I said that is that was an effort of the internal clique around Dr. Jill to get that 5%. That means we could be talking about millions of dollars in cold federal cash for 2020, which we don't have now. So that's a very significant point. I think the argument could be made that Governor Ventura would indeed bring 5% to the Green Party. The number one thing, what I would do, and this is how I would pitch it, is we need to get Governor Ventura to pull an Elvis entering the building and leaving the building at the University of Utah next week. Just a walkthrough. Doesn't need to be a workshop. What we're doing is we're going to manipulate the press and the media. If he comes to Utah, if Elvis is in the building at the university, we're going to make national press.
Absolutely.
We will make international. We'll go around the world. So there's step one. If you got to handle an inside lead, if you guys are buddies with Jimmy Dore, whatever it takes, whatever it is, somebody knows somebody that works at Jimmy Dore, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, the number one, I used to watch Off the Grid by Jesse Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. I love it. I easily fall down rabbit holes. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I love Off the Grid. And one of the things that Ventura said in 2016, I watched most of his shows, is his wife did not want him to run. This is very important. Has the missus had a change of heart? Is she given a green light? These are things that only people that have coffee in the morning with the governor would know. And that's very, very important. But regardless of all these details, I support everything that you guys are doing because of the optics of creating some media buzz. And this is something that we need to entertain because as we talk about, Sir Chad brought it up, there is a nomination process. There's a convention that's going to happen in 2020. But things need to happen beforehand. We need to start getting a little traction that comes with media manipulation.
Right.
And so that's what I want to support you guys in doing because regardless if Ventura signs on as green, one of the prerequisites that was changed, if you guys all remember glorious Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr was seeking in 2012, and let me know, if you guys don't know this, it's on Wikipedia. Roseanne Barr received at least 70 delegate votes to be the nominee in 2012 from the Green Party delegation. Over 70. It's unbelievable because that is stunning. But what happened there is the Presidential Green Party Coordinating Committee, PCSC, or whatever this elite little committee group is, and I mean that, elite little committee group, they will like to control who is going to be a nominee and who, or try to control the outcome of it. And that's something that we're going to go up against because I'm already reading internal and public. There is a faction or a significant group that likes to call themselves eco-socialists or socialists that are allergic to this idea that you guys are advancing. And that's, they don't even want to entertain it. And I'm totally against that blockage. I don't want that blockage.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good. I think that we can blast through that by entertaining this. And I'll chime out. I don't want to hog up all the time here.
No, that's okay. But I had a quick question. So you're calling it the what group again?
It's a presidential selection committee. It's PSC.
We were talking about that on one of our shows. Stevie and I brought that up. It's the PCSB or something like that. I'm actually trying to find that in right now as you're talking about. That's funny because I'm actually trying to find it on the GP.US website.
We need to list the names, basically. We need to know.
Stevie, do you remember what that meant? I think she's trying to kill a fly. But yeah, there's a group of people. Erin's part of that group. Erin Fox.
Well, there's another operator that's a part of it, and that's Michael Feinstein from California that you might be familiar with.
Yeah, he's been on my show. I actually did a get-to-know-him interview. Did a great job. He did a good job. So I know he's part of that as well.
He's a big player that's been pulling curtains behind the scenes for quite a while, and I have real issues with how he conducted himself in 2016. I don't want to get into that now, but
no. Yeah, of course.
It's a serious issue with this committee. But one of the requirements is the presidential candidate needs to be registered Green Party. They need to show that they're working to build Green Party development in a state or somewhere in the country. So they created all these guidelines after Roseanne Barr. There was a knee-jerk reactionary thing that happened after Miss Roseanne Barr. And so they tightened some things up. They made some more requirements. There is an effort to kind of make things a little tougher now, too. And so some of that could be good, some of it, whatever, but it's an obstacle that has to be addressed if you really want to see Ventura as a Green nominee.
How many people are on that committee? Do you know?
I posted it.
Sure, but it's public record. It's on greenparty.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only like 5 states with about 8 people.
Something like that.
Yeah. I'm just looking for it right now. But Erin Fox is one of them. There's a few I know that Mike Feinstein's one of them. There's a few other names I just can't think of. But William, can you navigate on there? Do you know how to navigate on the Green Party website and try to find that group? They're like the campaign something committee.
You want me to share? Do you want me to share screen of the website? Right?
No. If you find it, I'm looking for it myself.
I told you I put it in chat.
You just put it in the
Stevie,
chat.
go ahead. Sorry, everyone. Stevie.
It's in chat.
Oh, somebody posted it in the chat?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Stevie
Yeah.
Winona LaDuke and Jesse have talked before, and I think.
So I'm going to bring it up. I
reached out.
So here's the thing: is like, okay, so if we hit the wall with these people, with this committee, now what's the game plan after that? Because there's the problem. Because if we have a real opportunity to make some shit happen, and we have 5 to 8 people stand in our way, what is going to be the choice? I mean, are we going to do the Green Party takeover for real, or are we going to have to move to another thing? Because
well, I get what you're saying, and yes, it's got to go through these people.
Well, I mean, first, right.
But the thing is what George is saying, and I'm feeling what he's saying, is we've got to get them on record on. I want to get them on record on why. If they don't like what's happening, give me a valid reason of why you think this won't work or help boost it. I mean, we know all the particulars of what's going to happen if he does. What is it going to benefit the party if he doesn't? I'd like to know that from each and every one of them. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up in their names. I'm going to show you guys, and then I'll show it in the Zoom as well. I mean, in the YouTube as well. It's called the Presidential Campaign Support Committee, consisting of 5 individuals of California, 3 individuals of Connecticut, 1 in Iowa, 1 in Massachusetts, 1 in Michigan. Erin Fox is aboard with us, by the way. I mean, he's willing to hear the conversation. Let's just put it that way. 1 from Virginia, and then there's the Lavender Caucus. I don't know what that means. That I guess are part of the process. I don't know what that means. But these are the people that we definitely would like to bring on to the show, talk to them, or get them in writing of why. So I'm going to find, I've already found out a lot of their Facebooks, a lot of their Twitters, and I'm going to message them the question, that I posted. And then I'm going to give them like a week to respond. If they don't have a week, you got a week to respond to this, right? I'm going to say who I am. I'm going to also say who you are, George. I'm going to say that, Erin, we'd all like to know, what is your thoughts? What is the reason why you would? What is the reason why you wouldn't? And then let's just hear from what they have to say. And then if they do, which some might, I can kind of already tell you who already, aren't with it, like I said, I want to know why. I want to know what their big valid reason is why. And I think I think the rest of the party deserves to know that as well. Because when you're in this position, if you're not completely scrutinizing thoroughly the candidates that are out there, that are being presented to you, then let us know why. What is going on in your mind that keeps you from moving in a direction that, from what I'm hearing in California and others, in other states, is a lot of people are jumping aboard this. They're starting to understand the value of this. So yes, I am definitely going to be asking that question. Thank you for your information, George. Don't go. You can stay. You're part of the group. I appreciate it. We talk about other things too, by the way. Sometimes we talk about just, video games or movies. Go ahead, Will.
His insight has been valuable, I think. I've loved having him on.
So what do you think? What do you think then, George, Mr. Oliver? Like, what in the event that we get stopped by, for whatever reason, you know what I mean? Like they don't even like the idea of using him as a spearhead to bring to the party for the primary. However, what would you say the next goal would be? I mean, because that is like your dream.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts on directions to go. I think timing is really important. The whole timing of how things play out and what time are we in now and how do we address things. Now, I'll just say a couple of brief things. There was a lot of internal conflict with the 5 originally recognized names for 2016. And there is things that we can do as a working group to ensure that we're meeting the requirements that have been laid out for vetting and for qualification. So even when people are ambushing and trying to sabotage a potential nominee, which is what happened in 2016, their names were still originally recognized. So things like having a website, these are things. Jesse's got money. He can do this. He can develop a website. He can raise the funds. Governor Ventura can do things like we've never seen anybody do. He can do them better than Ralph Nader.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not kidding. This guy's a showman, and he's an organizer, and people love him. He can raise millions of dollars. So those are some of the requirements. You've got to have a website. You have to have a state party back you and say that you've been active or you're supporting Green Party development in a state. So those things should be on the website. They're a part of a criteria. We don't need to hear from anybody. You know what's alarming? After you showed me that I don't know, out of all these years, 20 years in the Green Party, I only recognized like 5 of those names. That's really alarming to me that all of these behind the scenes operators are sitting in such a high, powerful position for a presidential vetting committee. And somebody like me that's been with the party for 20 years has never read or seen their name. I've never seen them on social media. I've never heard of them. It's like I recognize 5. So there's things that we can do as a working group to ensure that we have met these qualifications. But number one, I would focus on right now getting Elvis in the building next week in Utah. And just have him do a walkthrough. He doesn't have to do a workshop. He can just come and say hi. I'm working on going down to Utah myself. I think I'm going to be there. It's about 80-20 right now. But, just getting him to come in, drop into anything, even the hallway, we can get some pictures. It'd be really great if we could have a direct yes, a confirmation, and then we privately allow the press and the media that we can get our hands on. We immediately start a media blitz for next week saying Governor Ventura is coming down to say hi to the annual Green Party National Committee Delegate NC meeting in Utah. And I can tell you right now, you're going to have a lot of rookie journalists that are going to be drooling at the mouth and salivating to come to Salt Lake City and come down to the university. So that right there, if you guys could pull that off, or we as a whole, but you guys are the driving force here. That's why I'm saying that, using that language. If you could get Ventura into the building and get a couple of media, we're going to have live streamers there anyway. So even if we don't get some big names,
What event is this? I'm sorry.
I'm going to post it.
This is next week. This is the annual Green Party convention in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah, I'll post it in a second. Here it comes.
I think you're right. As far as like strategy wise, it's a good short term goal.
Spot on, right?
And I think we should utilize Tim Black. I think we should try to utilize Jimmy Dore, hit a couple of these, Jamal, a couple of these major people to try and get them pumped, at least talking about it. You know, like, hey, Jesse's going to the Green Party. What's going to happen? What's, you know what I mean? Something where it can be seamless, at least across the progressive landscape, and then that can help build up that whole thing.
I mean, I've told you, I've been talking to Tim for a while about this.
Did you mention anything about possibly through Lee or something like that having Jesse on his show?
Well, actually, Lee has had Jesse on his show many times.
Tim Black, because Tim's real close with Lee, and if Lee's on RT with Jesse, so I'm saying like there's a connection.
Tim is also close to Abby Martin, and Abby Martin and Jesse have been best friends.
Well,
so
we need to we need to, I was going to say, however we need to, like say this week somebody has to make contact with Jesse. However we need to do it, we have to blast the fuck out of it at every possible angles we can. So that way, like, God damn, these people keep fucking hit me up. And that's because that's what he wants to hear anyways. He wants people to hound him to let him know that we want you. We want you. Let's do this shit.
Yeah, absolutely. We should get out there with like him, hashtagging it, you know, just try to get as many people to show how many people are fully behind him.
And and that's the whole point. Like Jimmy, you're talking about Tim. Those guys are definitely. If Abby, if we have to do it, well, who else? Fucking what's his name? Joe Rogan. We need to fucking tweet the hell out of him. He's a fucking huge asset. He's probably the #1 asset we have.
Great friends with Jesse Ventura.
What?
I mean, the value is off the hook. It's the process, and George brings up the good point of the process. So, getting him and I posted the event and the times and everything in on YouTube and on here with us. So I am thinking this project has other projects. So the biggest project that we have now, that our next step is what George is talking about. Jesse, get to Utah. We're going to buy you dinner, steak and lobster. I don't know if you're a vegan. Okay, we'll get you like artichoke hearts and like a lot of mayonnaise, whatever you want. You know, we'll take care of you, bro.
No,
we'll pay
mayonnaise has eggs.
You know, I'll pitch in for room and board for him.
No, what we do is we buy a spa treatment for his wife in Utah.
Done.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying?
Bada bing, bada boom.
Boom. Go let your wife get her fingernails or toes massage. Go do your thing, girl. Let Jesse go ahead and fucking fix the motherfucking world.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying.
Booyah! Booyah! Booyah!
And he loves that woman. He loves that woman. So
yeah, he does. And she's really the thumbs up or thumbs down of the entire operation. He said it clearly in 2016 on his show. My wife, I have to spend time with my wife. My wife does not want me to run.
Then that's what we need to do. We need to.
So we need to talk to the missus.
Yes.
The gift certificate or whatever we need. And say,
you're not going anywhere unless you go through me first.
Can I show George that clip of him talking about his wife, maybe?
Well, he knows.
Well, I mean, like the one when he was on the interview, like not about like his wife's name is, I forgot. But I'm going to show George this. This isn't him talking about 2016. It's just him talking about his wife in general. And I just thought it was, you know, I'm male, but I thought this was beautiful. Okay. Chad thought it was beautiful.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And roll the clip.
James, are you screen sharing?
Somebody-
Well, no. I'm just bringing it up. I was typing it.
He wasn't ready. His intro didn't match the.
Oh.
Okay, there's a YouTube ad.
But no, yeah, I definitely think that's the route to go, and especially with all the stuff with going with WikiLeaks and stuff like too. That whole crew with the vigil and stuff like that. It's a good opportunity to, because I mean they're on board with that shit anyways. Utilize that.
Okay, you can see?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, go ahead.
You know, it's interesting. I was talking to your chief of staff, or your former chief of staff, Steve, yesterday, and obviously the professions you've been in, whether that be pro sports, acting, politicians, not exactly professions synonymous with being faithful. And at the end of the conversation with him, I asked him, I'm like, is there anything that you've never heard Jesse asked about before during an interview that you think would be interesting to bring up? And he said, the unquestioning loyalty to his wife. And I wonder, what do you think has made it last so long?
Because I love her, and because we're partners, and because if she weren't with me, there'd be a void. I need her, not just emotionally and all of that. She does. I don't have entourages, so guess who it all falls to? I don't do the internet, so guess who has to do the internet for me? I don't send emails. I've never owned a cell phone, and now it's my life's mission not to. I want to be the first person, if I live another 20 years or whatever it might be, I want to be the only person that can put on his gravestone, he never owned a cell phone. Well, she does. So what would I do? Then I'd have to own a cell phone if I got rid of her.
Oh, there you go.
You know?
That's a great answer.
And that is far more important, not owning a cell phone, to achieve that goal. I hope everyone's laughing at that. Right. But in today's day and age, you never know. Jesse Ventura chooses a cell phone over his wife. You can see that headline coming out from the media. I don't know. It's I'm so attached to her now that it would be the same as me losing a limb.
For more clips from this interview, visit GrahamBensinger.com.
I'm just, you know, he's a man's man that loves his woman. You know what I mean? Like there's something really poetic about this whole idea, and I think the more people that dive into it are going to love it, because shit like that, like, I mean,
that's just cute.
He's a real dude. Like, I mean, you're talking about real shit, having a real conversation about real feelings, things that people really, you know, beautiful thing to see.
He connects. I mean, if that's the person, I mean, who do you want to be with you in your journey to fixing the country? Do you want a pussy grabbing whatever, or do you want a man that finally has morals, integrity, and freaking ethics, real ethics, not made up ethics, not according to the Bible ethics? You know, you want somebody that's got what the country really needs. So there's no doubt. On the other thing to note about that is we should be contacting her. I thought about that last time.
Yeah, I
William,
mean, you just heard the dude. He just said he does have a cell phone. He doesn't do email.
It all goes through her.
His wife is in charge of all of it.
Well, not only that, like you tell a lot about a man. I mean, seriously, about the woman he keeps. It's an important thing, and it really, the woman says the same thing about a woman. You know, man, the man she keeps or whatnot, it says a lot about her. But I mean, it really does.
And George was expressing something about the eco-socialists. So we can show this to the eco-socialists about his friendship with Fidel Castro.
Yeah.
If anybody from the main thing is not on board, I mean, it raises red flags for me.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is important. I'm going to show you guys a picture, and I'm going to say something. This is very important. She has a very big part in what he does, and I think that's amazing. They are a team. It's a partnership. They do something. It's together. If one of them doesn't like it, then it's probably not going to happen. If they both like it, then it's going to happen, and they're going to be 100% involved. That means we need, and please let me just show you this. We need to go and speak to. We need to let her know right now, if she's listening or paying attention, that this man is needed more than ever at this point. I know you don't want him to go out and do these things, and I know there are probably some things that are probably pretty negative, which are in my mind with these sadistic, crazy, and very unpredictable parties. But he's needed to bring out not just what we're trying to accomplish as far as, you know, getting more exposure for the Green Party, but bring out the information, or excuse me, plant the seed so that people want to have more information about what's going on in the world, how there is a two-party oligarch, how there is a kleptocracy, how the money is just completely and thoroughly deranging our elected officials, and that this narrative needs to come out. These talking points need to happen continuously, and he's going to have so much exposure to that. People are going to ask these. They have no other choice but to answer those questions. And then they're going to give us bullshit answers, and he's going to come back and say, "Are you sure you want to go with that answer? Are you sure you want to go with that answer?" Because I can see him saying those exact words. So I'm asking Teresa, I think her name is Teresa, right? Right?
Teresa Larson Masters.
Okay, she's beautiful. By the way, you're beautiful. He chose wisely. And your husband is needed for something that's vitally important right now. He was a mayor. He was a governor. His next thing he should be is the president of the United States, in my professional opinion, as a Green Party member. Because it's the only party that we're going to, all your grandkids and great-grandkids that are out there, this is the only party that's going to take care of them, that's going to make sure that there's going to be less war, and they're going to have full, comprehensive, universal health care with no copays. And everybody's going to be taken care of better. We're going to mend relations tactfully and morally and ethically with countries all over the world, because Jesse will be the forefront of that. It's not just going to be for show and distractions like the two parties do now, where they just play with people. This is something that needs to happen, and we would appreciate if you could understand how vitally important that is for us. Teresa, please, we're just throwing that out there. We would love for you to help us to bring him to Utah, just to say hi, just to start the conversation and see what's going on. That would be awesome. And if you wanted to go with him, you will get that massage, for sure. And the stones and those little suction things. What are those little suction things?
For our future First Lady, the full treatment.
The future first. Thank you, Chad. That's perfect.
That's what we need to do. We need to send her a care package this week and address it to the future First Lady and let her know we I'm fucking serious about this.
He deserves this. He
That's a good
deserves
idea.
this.
We deserve.
Go ahead, George. But
That's
he
a
does.
very good idea. You guys are absolutely spot on. As we're recruiting Governor Ventura, it is a package deal. You might as well consider the missus as the campaign manager.
Oh yeah.
And because she is going to be critical handling the cell phone. He doesn't have a cell phone. I didn't know that. She's going to be handling all of it until they get, some players on the team hired. He's going to have money for his staff, of course. But my point is yes, you're all spot on. James is spot on. Stevie is spot on. You're all spot on. This is a package deal, and you have to reach out to her. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's important too, because I never really thought about it. But the First Lady has duties, like they're not expected to just, sit there and look pretty. They usually take up like these, pet projects or, causes that they go out and they fight for. You usually do a lot with kids, anymore it's like propaganda stuff, but, I think she would actually take that seriously. Like not, I think, to hear Jesse talk about her, do some more research, because that's true. It's a package deal. Ask, it's one thing to ask him to run for president, but, jobs on her too. So we definitely need her say.
We're asking you to be First Lady. We're asking
to live under the spotlight and the scrutiny to pick up and move from where you're at and give up all your comforts and, yeah.
Let's find out what she's registered as. What is her political affiliation? It kind of reminds me, if any of you know about Willie Nelson's wife. Willie Nelson's wife is the political brains of all of his maneuvering. He came out and did some stumping for a couple of Democrats because the missus told Willie he needed to go do that in Texas. I can't remember the female name. There was a female running for governor. If there was something down there a couple years back, but I'm just saying it feels the same way. It's like Willie Nelson wasn't politically out there. His wife was doing that. And Google that and double check me and correct me if I'm wrong, but she was very critical. I feel the same thing here with Mrs. Ventura. And, and that is something that needs to be addressed. What's her political affiliation? These are all things that are going to come out. Any of the detractors in the party are going to come and jump on it, and we got to have all that stuff. Now, real briefly, do not lose sight of the key things that Governor Ventura is in line with our platform. Number one, legalize drugs. Legalize cannabis. He says, like Governor Johnson did. Governor Johnson came out outside of the Libertarian Party platform, and Johnson in 2016 said, I take it a step further and say legalize all drugs. How many of you guys know, how many of you, this crew knows that is what says exactly verbatim in our national platform? We don't just say legalize cannabis.
Yeah.
We say legalize them all. That's radical. That is radical, and that's a huge thing that Governor Ventura is in line with. Number two, foreign policy. This is something that we build a bridge with all green-leaning libertarian operatives across the country. Right here in the state of Oregon right now, we got a candidate, as I told everybody. So this is huge. We are non-interventionists. We agree with all of this perspective that Governor Ventura has. These are huge. Legalize drugs and peace, non-interventionist foreign policy revamping. These are huge things. So as we do this pitch, as we reach out down in Utah next week, as we continue our social media presence and step it up a bit, these two things, and there's others, those aren't the only ones, but they are huge, major blocks of our platform that Governor Ventura is already aligned with. And that's critical, super, super crucial from my perspective. I can tell you right now, That's how we're going to win the hearts and minds of the delegates of the National Green Party.
I hope you make this a habit of coming on here and talking with us, because I know tonight I have learned a whole lot from you, and I think that you've got a really important perspective, especially because, I mean, I'm getting ready to make the jump into the Green Party. I've decided I'm going to go green, and so we're all very new to the party here. So somebody with your, time that you've spent in it, that's some valuable lessons that you have.
Dropping knowledge balls all over the place.
Yeah, he's dropping some super bombs. Yeah, Stevie's in West Virginia, and they don't have a big following. And Stevie, what was that about owning Green or the Mountain Party or something? You mentioned that
we have
show?
offshoot, just this Mountain Party, but I feel like I don't know, I just don't like it, just for the fact that I don't want to have to be ashamed to say, I'm Green Party. There's no shame in that. I don't think that, just because they put the propaganda, it's our job to counter that and bring the information out there. I don't want to, mince words. I'm a Green,
That's great. Welcome aboard.
I don't want like off-brand, like generic, just watered down. I want the real thing. Like, I want the Green New Deal.
Well, what's really cool about West Virginia is that West Virginia is similar to Oregon, as that Green Party is an affiliate. It's the Mountain Party that's affiliated with the Greens, correct?
Yes.
So, and that's just like Oregon. We are the Pacific Green Party of Oregon. We were originally the Pacific Party, no green. And so that's very, very different. We have a number of states around the country that have really been created by the Federation. And the West Virginia is not like that. It's a real, genuine, independent operator, just like Oregon. And so I like that a lot. If you can find, I think Tamar Yeager, Yager, I think she is or was in West Virginia, and her partner, or maybe ex-partner, I'm not sure totally, but Tom Yeager is an old school Green. If they're in West Virginia still, those are two of the most solid people that I know, or a couple from a short list in the national.
Tamar, I'll look for him.
Tamar, and then Tom, both of them Yeager, Yager.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of promising stuff around here, especially with this last election. People are asking about alternate energy, the Green New Deal. They're asking about, drugs. So a lot of the same stuff as what Greens actually want to see done. Like, there's a lot of people asking for that right now. And a lot of people are seeing through the corruption of the Democratic and Republican Party. This is the best time to go in and get people. I mean,
and I got to tell you, Stevie, you don't need the Green Party. The Green Party needs you. And that's the reality of the situation. You have potential as a serious player for us. And I warmly welcome you, and I hope that you do get involved on the national level, because we need you.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, I think people just are looking for that party that really is going to truly represent them. And I was telling this to Chad the other night. People feel like their vote is getting thrown away by voting for third party. But when you look at it, the only real way to throw away your vote is to vote for a Democrat or Republican, because they're going to continue that same just downhill into hell that we've been on. They're going to continue it. They're going to enhance it. It's going to get worse. So that's the only real way that you can really screw up your vote anymore, is just voting for the duopoly.
I think Chad, by the way, are you doing something out there in Tennessee, or are you Green, or what are you doing?
Well, that's the plan. Right now, I mean, I know that they're short on signatures in order to make it, to get the Green Party on the ballot to be official. So that's my plan now, especially with all these things that are going on. Because I voted for Jill Stein, and I'm at the point where I feel like I've got some shit together where, I can try to, pull some people together here in Tennessee, because people need a place to go, regardless of what party you are. And I think because being against the corruption across the board makes people feel comfortable, because it's like that's since it is the South, it's conservative. The right wants to see the corruption, and progressives, they understand how the Democratic Party and how the liberal, especially media, controls so much, and how they propped up Trump. And so there's a lot of things I feel like could bring people into it. Plus, it's things are starting to blossom in Tennessee anyways, like the younger and stuff. And something you mentioned the first thing, because you said the drugs, you want to end the drug war. And I agree completely. And it's all about the idea is to bring people into the Green Party, because if you bring people into a party, that means they're listening to the conversation that the Green Party is pumping out. You're listening to the tweets. You're subscribed to the page. The people, the politicians that are analyzing what's going on. Those people are your narrative. You're trying to understand through these people. So it's getting people's attention. Going cannabis, because the cannabis connection, because of the private prison, the health, all these different things that are around just cannabis being illegal, including, the police's dynamic, the relationship that has to do with the Black community. There's more people in jail than all violent crimes combined, or for cannabis than all violent crimes combined. Blacks, minorities, 4 to 5 times likely when white, and they use the same rate. So my whole idea, and I'm going to share this just to show you, is to do a cannabis coalition, focus on cannabis itself, because you're going to bring a lot of young people, you can hit the culture, and you can get a lot of hip people involved in it, and then they can understand how the just this being illegal, how the system works and how the corruption works. So let me just show you.
I helped Chad co-found that, and I'm planning on getting stuff organized here in Arizona. I'm going to get T-shirts printed with the logo.
So this is what I wanted to do here is make this the Green Party US or whatever. There's 52 here with an extra, as stars for the thing. There's an extra one for Puerto Rico and then one for DC. I wanted to add on there. So that way we can have one for statewide, and then if I can find the other one, this one could be for individual state. It'll go Green Party CA or Green Party TN, whatnot. So a bunch of apparel, and then we can make it again specific for each state or whatnot. Again, the idea is to get people's attention and hook them on being able to connect the dots. And because the Green Party's got the hippie reputation, I'm saying if they did some disjointed type shit or some funny or die type videos to get people in the Green Party using the hippie, using that, people would laugh at it and feel more comfortable with it.
Well, it's kind of like a roast, like they, Comedy Central has those roasts, and they just kind of have to, I'm that guy that the Green Party has their label, for the environmentalists and being a little kooky and stuff. Fucking own it. Yeah, we're a little weird. Yeah, we walk to we walk to our own beat. Like we don't follow. Yeah, that's why we seem a little weird. Just kind of own it, laugh at it. Yeah, that's us. But we also do this, and we also can, America and a living wage to workers, stuff like that. That's one of the aspects of what we are.
So may I share?
Great to hear. The graphic looks great. Looks great. I totally support that. The one thing that I kind of push people is it's the United States Green Party. There is this old history with Green Party USA. They didn't want to run electoral politics, and you'll see when you do a Google search that Green Party USA comes up on a different line. It's a little confusing, But other than that, it's really great. This is something that it's very encouraging for me to hear. We have this all in common. I'm in Oregon. I mean, this is cannabis country.
Right,
You know, I'm 46 years old. I've been smoking for 30 years. And so I'm a huge advocate. I have been a part of the push along the entire West Coast. We had a West Coast sweep. Alaska, Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona almost passed. That was so damn close. Colorado. This is huge, and I'm reluctant to even talk about it because it's so embarrassing to me. But there has been a pushback from our own party that doesn't want to be pigeonholed into being stoners, and it is so stupid. It's asinine because we are riding a green tsunami of cannabis. Right. And you guys are spot on. You're going to be the leaders. I want to be a part of it. Consider me an ally. Let's push that. That's something that Ventura is 1,000% on board. I believe he's a smoker. I know he's been partaking. So, you know, right? So, I mean, you know,
yeah,
it's
I heard him talking about it, saying that it changed his life, that it helped somebody that was close to him, you know, overcome their seizures.
I think
how it saved, you know, their life and his, because, you know, it's like he got, you know, some of his freedom back.
I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, let's do some digging, but I think he quit drinking, and I think the governor associated cannabis with stopping alcohol. I could be wrong, but double check on that. So if that's true, it's huge.
But that's one of those things that brings the older and younger generation together, because the older generation is not like they were, you know, they're not so anti-pot as you would think. You know, I know that is a common thing that gets put out there, but like even people here, they're asking for it because they know it's a way to combat people get off of it. It helps, you know, prevent people from even becoming addicted to it in the first place. So a lot of people are asking about that because, you know, we're tired of seeing our kids dying in the streets from overdoses. So you see grandma and grandpa down there asking about, you know, legalizing, you know, marijuana because they don't want, you know, their grandson just overdose, you know, stuff like that.
Absolutely. And Sir Chad just nailed it. I mean, he just nailed it. This is not about us just medicating. You know, I mean, I quit drinking, and cannabis is huge. Several years back, it was essential in relieving anxiety, but this is way beyond our personal stories. This is about the prison industrial complex. This is about the people of communities of color that are being locked up. Our children, young people are being locked up because of cannabis, an herb. I mean, this is all about racial equality. This is all about social justice. This is about taking on the military-industrial complex. This is about tackling police militarization. I mean, all of these things you'll hear Governor Ventura rail about on Off the Grid and Beyond. So, and his new one too. I haven't been watching his new one as much, but it's huge. And this is, we're going to push aside these reservations from Greens, and we're going to blast forward with cannabis, and you folks are going to be a part of the leadership.
Here's what cannabis, just to let you know, I smoke it. I'm glad I smoke it. The best thing, my mom, you got to hear the story, but you guys heard the story. So my mom plays World of Warcraft, right? We play World of Warcraft every once in a while. Okay. She reaches Jimmy, let me show you something real quick. So she reaches behind her monitor. I thought she was going to grab another WoW character or something. She brings out this little glass bong. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, Mom, is that Taylor, my nephew, who smokes religiously? No, it's mine. And I go, you're fucking kidding me. So how do you feel about destroying all my plants when I was a kid? How do you feel about flushing all that pot down those toilets? Right? How do you feel that? Because she takes it, she's got like a little glaucoma stuff going on, and it helps her to sleep at night and relax. which is so huge for so many people. So when if anybody has any reservations about marijuana being something that's, what do they call the type 1 bad drug that the CIA put out there because they didn't want to ruin the alcohol, whatever the fucking case may be.
Reefer madness.
Yeah. That's a ridiculous argument. There is no other true reason that I know that I can think of why Jesse wouldn't be a great candidate for and good thing for what we're doing. I just don't see, and I've done all this research. I've checked everything. I've chickadee checked myself before I wrecked myself, bro. And I have gone through everything, and I am saying right now, if they can't hear it from us, and they can't hear it from you and Stevie and Will and Chad and Gary and Pamela and Shane and a lot of other people, and Erin and a bunch of other people out there that are growing and growing and growing. Eric Rydberg just came on. He was aboard. At first, he was just like, are you crazy? And I said, you damn right I'm crazy. And I'm sending information to everybody because we've got to be crazy. We've got to get nuts. We've got to get out there and bring attention, in a tactful and professional way. But we've got to do something to grow this party and bring attention to what's happening in the world. If you guys don't have anything else, Chad, are you going to be opening up pretty soon?
Well, no, not tonight. I got a little bit.
Ryan will probably have a show, Ryan Bannock. But if anybody else that doesn't have anything else, I've been on since 6:30. I don't like to go too long. George, do you have anything else, or who wants to go first? Anybody?
All I'd want to say in closing is that, James, as you see fit, I would recommend at your counsel and guidance to pull Stevie in to the Green News Network. Done. And just to bounce that off there, just to see how it goes. It's not always, that chat can be kind of hit or miss, but the Green News Network is pretty good, and I think Stevie might connect with Sabrina. I'm just saying, if Stevie wanted to, and or whatever, but it'd be kind of good to try to pull in, and that's an open invite to everybody, really.
Yeah.
I mean, but
yeah, I think I've talked to Sabrina before. I think she's friends with Independent Outsider.
Okay.
Yeah, if she's the same lady you're talking about, yeah, I've talked to her and she's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think if it's the same Sabrina, but the Green News Network. I mean, Stevie, I got a real good read on people, and I'm intuitive. And I can tell you right now, we need to recruit you. I don't know exactly where the right fit is, but the Green News Network could be a fit, and boy, we really need your help. And I think it would be better than getting you into a committee with the Federation, although I could help do that for you too. But I really think a little more independent operator, like possibly the Green News Network, you could at least check it out. And if it doesn't work, you can always step out. But
yeah, thanks.
Well, Holly Seeliger, just to say she's part of it.
Holly is awesome in Maine.
Yeah, we need another gal in the mix, man. More women, the better, for sure.
Yeah,
hey, just I'd love to see, real quick. Will's going to play
Stevie
video
with her own show.
Continue.
And we can get her set up on something and just get her rolling.
Oh yeah, well I have a show. I just I don't. I mostly just join in on here. I don't do too many videos over there these days, but.
Well, I'm trying to recruit you, and I think we all should make an effort to recruit you.
She really blew up with the Anna Kasparian debacle when like I think Anna Kasparian fangirls were going after her. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Oh no, there wasn't too many people like that.
Well, I don't know. I saw comments, and I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna show this one.
Yeah, Will's gonna show his video, and then after that, I'm gonna do my ending thoughts. But George, thank you. I will send you invites in our next show. I hopefully will have some more updates. We're gonna do and put the we're the type of people that put action into words. We don't fuck around here. We email, we make phone calls, we go after people, we do things. So We are definitely going to do our best to ask Teresa in the nicest way. I think if we can find out how to get in touch with her, I know that we can get her a gift certificate for a massage. And you know what's good? I think she would like what are those things called? The fruit baskets that you send? What are those called? You guys know what? It's like chocolate on fruit, and they got them in like a bouquet. Edible arrangements. Edible arrangements.
Like a cornucopia.
Yeah, the cornucopia.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and head out.
We should send her something. I follow through on that.
If you want to find me on any social media, it's _Redneck Economics on Twitter. So anyway, good talking to you all tonight.
I really do want you to see it just a little bit if you can. If not, if you don't have time.
Stevie, we appreciate it. All right, send us off with this video, brother. I want to hear Jesse talking about some Marahuchi.
Yeah. Suitable for young children.
We have seen, even on our show, young children with intractable seizures who have had to literally take their children to the state of Colorado, leave their homes behind, and it's a cure. And we've seen these stories, and it breaks my heart that families can't get access to this in their home state, in their hometown. What's your stance in that situation?
So separate medical and legalization. You know, why the governor talking about how this is a miracle drug for those with seizures, and I'm glad it did help his wife. We should make that medically available at a pharmacy, but why would we vote on a medicine? Let's go have it go through the scientific FDA process, which it is, by the way. I think next year there will be CBD oil on the market, and that's good. I'm in favor of that. And even for parents now who are desperate, they can't wait for the FDA. They shouldn't wait. And if they need to get what they need to get, I understand that. They shouldn't be arrested, but that is a separate issue than legalization. Do you know all of these legalization laws are written so that a small number of people, and guess what? They look like me. They're not as old as you, Governor, and they don't look, they're as young as me, and they look like me. They're young white guys with Yale MBAs. They're getting rich off of legalization and laughing all the way to the bank while folks like you legitimize marijuana, something that we should be discouraging, not encouraging our young people to do.
Well, Dr. Sabet, I want to thank you very much for sharing your perspective on this.
And I can tell this doctor would never in his wildest dreams go to a Jimi Hendrix concert. You know, there's the old cliche, people. If I were offered, number one, to go to a drinking party or to go to a pot party, I would choose the pot party for 3 reasons. The chances of violence will be slim and none. At the drinking party, about 50-50. Pot party, nobody's going to throw up on me. Drinking party, it can happen. Pot party, you can do it till 3 in the morning, get up at 7 and have a good day at work. Drinking party, drink till 3, you'll never get up at 7 and have a good day at work. Oh my. Why is it that I'm wrong, but I win the crowd? I have yet to figure that out.
I feel like you diminish any concerns. That gentleman's, he's not against you. He's just trying to do what's right for kids. And it bothers me that you're not willing to at least listen that there, as a doctor, I have some concerns with kids. I'm in your corner on one perspective or from one perspective, but.
Have I stood out here at all today and promised this for children?
No, but you can't.
I've said treat it like alcohol and treat it like tobacco.
Absolutely.
End of story.
But doctors.
That's all that has to happen.
Well, and in an ideal world, but you have to understand that when you involve kids and kids' health, and you're talking about physicians, and doing it the right way is important, and we can't just say.
I've only raised my own children. I know nothing about it.
Jesse, honestly,
you're so right, because we have an issue in this country with drinking and smoking with kids, so we can't minimize or ignore those issues. So if we're going to legalize marijuana, we need to learn some lessons from what has gone wrong with kids who start drinking and smoking at young ages, so that we don't have kids using marijuana at young ages. That's all we're saying.
It's called parenting.
Yeah, well, it's not as easy as just parenting. In an ideal world, it is, but parenting isn't the only solution.
My kids went all the way through it, and I parented.
But Jesse, not everyone has someone as a role model. And I've stood on this stage, Jesse, and said that I think marijuana is more benign than alcohol. I've said that on this stage. So I think the most important thing that people can do is just, if you're in a state where this is going to be on the ballot, educate yourselves.
Study. Yes.
Understand what it means. Jesse, obviously, we're grateful that you could be here today. We're obviously so happy
can you stop this, please?
that marijuana was so successful in treating your wife's seizures. I think that's
I stopped it.
Yeah, just stop it. Okay, so the guy that was on there is a corporatist punk. He wants to go through the FCC or the FE or whatever, the FDA, right? So they can turn it into a Marlboro, a Philip Morris. So they can sell it over the counter. So it's all about the money. So if they can't monetize it to what they want it to control it, because they'll push it on you. They'll start selling it and pushing it on you to the point to where, you know, new cigarette is not a cigarette, it's marijuana, you know, and they're going to have fucking jingles and shit, right? So that's what Jesse's point is he doesn't want it to become corporatized. And once it becomes corporatized, and I want you guys to look up this guy's name, James Benno, up in Shasta County, went through 14 allegations of felonies, and he won them all over a county that was going against his ability to grow, sell, and take care of his acreages of medical marijuana. It's an amazing story. He's one day going to come on the show. I've known him since I was like 16 years old. But anyway, so that's the point here between the doctors and the pharmacists and the people that understand how marijuana or anything could be used and abused, which once you get the corporate hands in them, that's what Jesse's really talking about. You can raise your kid, you can tell them how to do what you do, it's parenting. You should fucking get that. But what I'm saying, what I'm trying to make a point of is that Jesse understands that once you give it that Philip Morris label, then we're all fucked. Then it just turns into another, you know, problem and commercial on. I'd actually like to see a pot commercial on the fucking football.
What I'd like to see is Jesse do some token town halls where the whole town hall people, everybody gets a joint and everybody bakes out, and then you have the town hall.
Yeah. Just a town hall of everybody fucking stoned. George does it. I mean, not George, but Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has some great conversations. You know, I've been on here a couple times stoned, and I'm telling you right now, I have some great conversations. It doesn't change or do anything. I could be stoned now. You guys don't even know it. You don't even know it. But anyway, but that's a good video. It's good to see he's got people. That's another thing. He's on the doctors, right? I haven't seen a June Baraka on the doctors. Have you seen a June Baraka on the doctors? No. You know, people are still bringing up his name, June Baraka. That's our guy. Then you're not gonna. I like a June Baraka. He's a wonderful person. He's got great history and all that good stuff. But for him to be that person that you're gonna place out there in publicity wise, it's not a June. I'm sorry, it's not a June.
You know, your timing is good because Ajamu has lost a lot of support.
Yeah.
Is chiming in Ocasio Cortez, what is her name in New York?
Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Ocasio Cortez.
I've been blown up. In fact, you've followed the Green News Network has completely backed away from Ajamu, and they have been pushing him. Tony Smith we all have. And so now the timing is really good that we don't really have a front runner. If you guys back away from Dr. Jill on a third run, the gates are wide open. And the way that process works is we have a nominee and then they select a VP. So it doesn't go in. You don't have Dr. Jill and the governor together going in. It doesn't work like that. It let Ventura get some footing, unless you wanted to have Dr. Jill go and then have governor be a VP, but why would you
No,
want to do that?
no.
No, that's what'll happen. I'm
No.
telling you right now, you'll start getting people that go, "Yay, Jill," and then maybe
does he have a say? Does he have any say in who he wants to be his
he
vice
has
president?
a say.
Yeah,
He has a say the whole time if he is running as a potential nominee for president of the Green Party of the United States.
And who his running mate
he
is.
Picks.
And
he
who's
picks.
running? Okay.
He picks. And if he wanted to pick Jill, leave that down the line.
Okay.
Don't include her. It just, to me, it convolutes the whole process here, in my opinion. Because I'm telling you, I'm one of them.
We're changing this
that will
because
not
of
revolt back.
George, we're changing this to the Jesse Project.
Yes. Because I'm telling you,
I knew
I'm one
that.
of them.
I already knew that was coming. I knew it was coming.
But you know what? It's important.
I'm not alone.
No,
I'm not alone. There's a lot of us.
The reason I put Jill in there because I want to know where she's at. I've got people trying to contact her right now to see if she would at least support.
Let's encourage her to follow up with what she said. I've been encouraging her for 2 years. Run local and run in a winnable state. With Jill's tide, all of our boats rise.
Okay, I get you. Okay, so we're now going to the Jesse Project, and whoever Jesse chooses, just the way it works. With that being said, I know your nipples are hard, and so are mine.
Hey, count me on board. Count me on board now. I'm your guy.
Thank you very much, George. You're freaking awesome. Let's go after these whatever the hell they call them, committee guys over at the National. And I sent you an email on something I sent out to everybody. We really need some unity. We really need some uniformity. There's a lot of things that we need to work on within the party. One of our shows were, hey, we like Jesse, but is the party ready for Jesse? That was one of our questions we brought up. But anyway, Chad, you got anything? Will, you got anything? Because I'm going to go ahead and shut her down. I've been on for about 2 hours or so.
Glad you came on.
I mean, you're doing closing thoughts? Because I'll stay tuned for that. But other than that, I have nothing else.
Okay, well, I'm going to boot you then. Okay, aloha. Thank you very much, George. I'll send you a link as soon as we come on. Again, thank you. God, what a great player he is. Awesome. George is awesome. Wow, that was a good show. Always a good show. Everything's getting better. It's more positive. We're moving. We're growing. We're actually gaining traction. And honestly, it's almost like it's happened already. Maybe in this universe, right? What's supposed to happen? Listen, I just don't know any other way to fix what's going on out there, people. I really don't. I mean, yes, I want you to get out there and petition. I think what the teachers did in West Virginia was great. That needs to happen. But there's so many other things on a level that needs to be exposed. There are so many things that are happening out there that need to be addressed that are not and won't with the current fucking Republicans and Dumbocrats that we have out there. And I'm not talking about the voting republic. I'm talking about your supposed leaders, which are the judiciaries, legislators, and executives that we, for some stupid reason, brought into office and into power. They're not doing anything for you. Let's bring some attention where it needs. Let's go with a party that people need to catch up with. And I appreciate everybody coming on tonight. Garden, good to see you. Should have jumped on with us. Everything's working well so far. It was a little sticky. Some of the videos were sticky. I think my connection gets worse as the night goes on. That's why I tried to do it earlier. But that's where we're at. Thank you, Stevie, for coming on. Thank you, Sir Chad, for coming on. Thank you, Ryan Brannick, for coming in and singing songs to yourself with your microphone. That was wonderful to see and hear. Thank you, Will, for being Will. I'm telling you, you're Batman and I'm Robin, bro. That's it. You're the man, bro. You're awesome. Thank you very much for being who you are, buddy. And George, thank you. I appreciate it. Green News Network, awesome. Everyone, this is the thing that we're going to continue to do, that we're going to keep moving. I'll have other shows, but when I'm talking project, I'm talking about the Jesse Project, and we're going to keep that narrative going. And Jesse, Teresa, Tyrell, the whole family, everybody, if you can, please, I'm only asking, if you can, consider how vitally important this will be. It's time. It's time. He might. I think he wants to do this. I think in his heart he didn't say it because he didn't. Jesse doesn't fuck around and I've watched him for a while now. When he says something, he's going to do it. And all of us will back him 100%. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that the man continues to thrive. I mean, I will do whatever it takes to get him out there to do what's needed to be done. If he gives me the opportunity on his team, I would be more than happy. All of us will. All of us will do everything we can. And to those out there that are part of the Assembly Campaign Committee, what the heck is that name? The Presidential Campaign Support Committee, the PCSC. This is what they do. Prepares and administers an exploratory outreach plan to potential candidates and represents GPUS in coordinating communication with candidates seeking GPUS presidential nomination. This committee is busiest in the year before the U.S. presidential election, for strategic planning is going strategic planning is going on. Preferred experience, campaign management, excellent communication skills, knowledge, and Green Party policies and history. I think I should run. I think I should run for this position. I'm just not trying to be real. It's time. If we want to shine, this is our time. We are at the precipice. Let's make it happen. I'm not going to talk about it anymore tonight. I'm tired. I had a long day. Anyway, thank you very much for everyone coming on tonight. I truly do and absolutely appreciate it. Aloha nui, mahalo nui aloha means thank you very much. Goodbye with love. To everything, good seeing you. Take care. Aloha, guys.